Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadave Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dhanavat Pranam devotees. So I should label these questions and answers. Sometime one devotee mentioned that they're not sure what the topic is about until they listen to a particular presentation or to me giving an answer to someone's question. They don't really know what the subject matter is. And I apologize for that, because really this format was meant just as a way for me to answer questions, excuse me, without having to type, consistently and repeatedly back and forth with many devotees. So I will try to find a way to label these somehow or another, so if somebody's looking for a particular question and answer, they can find it more easily. Right now, I just want to quickly answer one question that came in. I'm trying to find it right now. Give me a second. So the question is from one Mataji, one Didi. She's asking, how is it possible for us to practically work on ourselves to get through the stage of anartha vritti? It's anartha nivritti, but there might be a typo here. To get through the stage of anartha nivritti, how should we work on ourselves practically to get through this stage? So it's a very, very good question. And the first thing I would do is, rather than to be dependent on my own understanding, I'll directly refer to the teachings that have come down in our Guru Parampara, which we all should, and particularly the book Madhurya Kandambini of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakurpad, because there he has given a complete unfoldment of the process of bhakti, beginning with faith and going through all the various steps. And he describes 4 types of 4 anarthas. So I had a discussion once before with someone who said that why is there only 4 types of 4 anarthas? Aren't anarthas unlimited? So forth and so on. What Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakurpad did was gave the essential anarthas that prevent us from obtaining bhakti. Yes, within the human condition, there may be many different types of faults and so forth and so on. But those faults would not be things which are hindrances to practicing bhakti when we come under anugatya of a sadhu or guru. But these 4 things that he enumerated, and I don't have time to do them here, maybe I'll do a separate discussion on them. Those things, and 5 subtle things, and 6 stages of immature bhakti, called anushtita bhakti, they can retard our progress or check our progress in some cases in performance of bhakti. Excuse me. Now to answer Didi's question directly, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's 11:22-10, there is a verse that describes Anadi Avidya Yuktasha Purushasya Atmavedanam Swato na Sambhavanti Anya Gyanata Gyanado Bhavet. So this verse is very important because it's an encapsulation of the condition of the jiva, beginning with an explanation of how they've existed within the material arena from anadikal. Anadikal literally means without any beginning. And secondly, the fact that, to answer your question directly, swato na sambhavanti. So swato na sambhavanti means that on our own account, we cannot affect any change, right? What we can do is we can do saranagati. That is what we can do. by our own efforts and activities and mental arrangements and even physical arrangements, right? We cannot do anything beyond Saranagati that would be effective in allowing us to remove anarthas. Once we do Saranagati and come under Anugatya of a sadhu, at that time the potency in the form of Kripa Shakti coming from a sadhu, right? It will provide the necessary both potency and illumination to allow us to effectively move through the stage of Anartha Nivritti. This is why the stage called Bhajana Kriya comes before Anartha Nivritti. First there should be Shraddha. And Shraddha or Ado Shraddha also means having developed some faith in a sadhu. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, realizing the nature of attachment and the performance of full surrender and doing anugatya to that sadhu. First, knowing what is a sadhu. Sadnoti sadayati cha Krishna prema iti sadhu. That person who's understood Krishna prema to be the ultimate goal of life and has realized it themselves, they're called sadhu. Then doing their anugatya means literally following by body, mind, words, activities, everything, following that sadhu with dedicated heart. This is called doing anugatya to a sadhu. After that, the sadhu by their kripa, gyanatva, gyanadho bhavet. So gyanatva means by their realization, gyanadha means by their kripa shakti or their disposition to be inclined to give you that shakti. Then you can actually begin to work by the practice of bhajan with that shakti, with that power given from a sadhu. You can begin to transport the arena or the area of Anartha Nivritti. So you can go by these 27 things in total, 6 kinds of immature bhakti, 4 types of 4 narthas, and 5 types of subtle mental conditions which impede the progress in bhakti. So you can get through those things, right, by the Shakti embedded in the heart of a sincere follower of a sadhu. So there isn't really a question of working on yourself, except working on your ability to remain and fixed in Saranagati to the lotus feet of a sadhu. I've quoted many times before. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given indication of this in his bhajan, Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, right? Eka kiya mar nahi pai bhal, Harinama Sankirtane. I have Harinam Sankirtan, right? But I don't find even having Harinam Sankirtan the bhal, the strength to go forward in bhakti. Therefore, Krishna say tomorrow, Krishna deti paro, tomorrow shokatiache. O Vaishnav Thakur, you possess Krishna and the ability to give him. So Amitu Kangal Krishna Krishna Bhale Bole Daya Tava Pache Pachi. Therefore, abandoning all of my own mental considerations and conjectures and everything else, I will run after the lotus feet of a sadhu and beg their causeless mercy to be able to transcend all of these obstacles and keep good footing on the path of bhakti. So very briefly, I just wanted to answer your question because I know I was a little late. It's sometimes difficult because I have many things going on, but I did not want to be neglectful. One devotee actually had to write me back a question and say, hey, you didn't answer this question. And I've tried to keep up and be conscientious since I'm at least using this format, which is easier than, going back and forth through a typing marathon, so to speak. So I at least need to try to be conscientious to make sure that I am being pretty prompt in responding to questions. So again, the summary or the gist is that of our own accord, we don't have power to make arrangements within the arena of Anartha Nivritti to remove them. So the first thing is to realize that faith is the genesis of everything. And that faith has to be placed in a sadhu. The sadhu is the personification, right, of Bhagavan Shakti in this world. So we have to find that sadhu. I've already described what is a sadhu. So being in the association of a person, hearing their Harikatha, watching their behavior, you can begin to get some faith in that person as a sadhu. Then, coming under guidance of that sadhu, as Rupa Goswami is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Guru Padasraya, Guru Diksha, Shiksha, then Vishrambhena Guru Seva, right? These things mean, my wife is always chastising that sometimes I will not explain if I say something in Sanskrit. So, Guru Padasraya means taking shelter. That means doing Saranagati, genuinely. Taking Diksha from Sri Guru. Diksha is described as a twofold process. Diyate Param Jnanam, Kshiyate Papanasanam. So Diyate Param Jnan means to receive transcendental knowledge. This is the meaning of the verse I quoted from the 11th canto, that Guru is Jnanatva. It means he has realized knowledge of the nature of Krishna, Krishna's Swarup, Krishna's Leela, what is your Swarup, etc. And Jnanadobhavet, they have the Kripa Shakti of Bhagavan also, so they can bestow that on you, right? So Diksha means Diyate Param Jnana, to receive that knowledge, and also the Shakti, the power, Shiyate Papanashanam, the power inherent in their teachings and in their Kripa allows you to traverse the difficulties of the stage called Anartha-nivritti. So we shouldn't really consider Anartha-nivritti a separate stage of endeavor. Our endeavor should be put into bhajan. That's why bhajan is the next category. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha-nivritti, and then Nishta. So Anartha-nivritti is in between two things, Bhajana Kriya and Nishta. So what will create the removal of the Anarthas and allow us to obtain Nishta? Bhajan life. And bhajan begins with the things I just mentioned, Guru Padasraya, taking Diksha, receiving Shiksha, etc. Right? So there is no real need to consider making separate endeavors and how should I manipulate myself in one way or another to try to deal with this anartha or that anartha. Be very dedicated to bhajan life, because this is doing anugatya to a sadhu. And when you do that, the necessary potency to traverse the arena of anartha-nivritti will automatically come. There's no need for separate endeavor. There's no need also for divesting your faith and putting it in a different modality. I spoke about that on another tape, so you can reference that Facebook conversation. It's in the list of them somewhere, where I discuss not to divest faith, which I've seen in the past. People will say, well, I had to go to this kind of seminar, or I had to take up this type of modality just to prepare myself to do Saranagati. No, Krishna consciousness is whole. Krishna consciousness has the ability in and of itself to provide everything needed to become successful in bhakti. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shakti. Even in Harinam alone, all shakti necessary for all perfection is imbued in Harinam itself. So don't divest your faith. Take all of your faith and put your faith completely in the process of bhakti. And as I mentioned before, the Kripa Shakti of bhakti manifest in a sadhu will come into your heart, giving you the ability to navigate the difficult, circuitous path that is our fate in trying to obtain bhakti according to everyone's individual and previous karmic background. So it may not be a straight line. We may have to do like this, do like that. But the Shakti coming from the sadhu will be our propellant through that maze, so to speak. And then coming to the platform of Nishta in bhajan life, then very quickly Ruchi will come. Because one will appreciate first Ruchi in the process of bhajan itself, because bhajan has now, its efficacy has manifested, and all of the struggles we may have had start to fade away. So there's a great appreciation for bhajan. Then secondly, in the stage of Ruchi will come Ruchi for bhajaniya, means the object for which you are doing bhajan. And then an intense desire, unquenchable desire for obtaining that perfection called Ashakti will come. And then Bhagavan's Kripa ultimately will manifest. Sura Sattva Visheshatma Prem Suryangsa Samyabha Ruchibis Chittamasranya Kiraso Bhavuchite. Then Swarup Shakti will descend and it will give illumination to the heart, and you will realize your Swarup, what is Bhagavan, and your perfection means Swarup Siddhi will be obtained. And then in the next birth, one will take birth wherever Krishna is performing his Prakat Lila, and there the training will go on, right, in that perfected state under the guidance of the Nitya associates of Bhagavan according to whatever rasa that you have. So thank you very much for your question. It is a wonderful question, and I again apologize for getting back a little late, but hopefully this was okay. Jai Vancha Kalpaturubhishcha Kripasindhaveva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Radhe Radhe.